What's up? What's up? What up? What's up, Andrew and Mr. Patreon.com? Actually, I think we renamed him to Butter Rum last night. Didn't we rename you to Butter Rum? Oh, crap. There's a bunch of junk down here. Of course, now I gotta move the pretzels. I gotta eat one. What's up, Don? I like pretzels. Good pretzels. These are actually really good. Sourdough. Yum. Sourdough pretzels. Printer printing. So, literally just got another message from Power Vision is repairing the quadcopter. Not sure what's going to happen with it. They didn't get back to me for a very, very long time. A week. I should call it a very, very long time. It was a week. And I guess I got a couple people out with the whole COVID BS. Anyway, I was like, all right, I'm going to ship it to you. They sent me the label a couple week ago, whatever it was. And so I boxed it up today, sent them an email, said, it's coming at you. Do whatever you want. Because I originally asked if they wanted everything. You know, did they want the controller and the batteries, or did they just want the unit that they can repair and ship back? And never got back to me, so I just boxed up the whole thing, put it in the mail with their label, and said, look, I boxed the whole damn thing up. Batteries, controller, props, all the extras, the accessories, everything that came with it, and sending it to you. And if you want to fix it and resell it, go right ahead. You know, sell it as a refurb or whatever, because Steven didn't pay for it. He got it as a demo, as a demo unit. And then, the only expense was shipping it to me. So I was like, if you guys want to resell it, just, give Steven his $60 so he can redistribute it to the people that paid to have it shipped, and you guys can resell it for all I care. And, no skin off my teeth. And they just emailed me back. We were like, oh, sorry, we're out a couple people, blah, blah, blah. We'll fix it and let you know what's going on when we get it. I don't think I broke it. I mean, anything's possible. I don't know. It just, I don't know how I could have broken it. I didn't do anything to it. I literally hit the auto takeoff button, and it just went pop. What is up, Terry? I haven't seen you around in a while. Dude, I love your clock, by the way. I've seen that, it comes back up around on Twitter once in a while when somebody re-comments on it or something. And Monday, they showed it on Outmace thing. And I love that clock with the plywood ends. That just looks freaking cool. It's just like that rustic cool look. I want one. Gonna have to make me one. Might have to make my own little changes. Make it my own thing. That is very cool. What'd you put in there for like clockwork stuff? Is that just one of them cheap, like $10 clock things you can get off eBay or Amazon? A little battery powered. I'm assuming you just plopped in the back of it. Anybody want to hop on in so you're not just listening to my dumbass babbling stupidity? I should start tearing apart the llama core more. And I'm going to completely, basically, well, not completely, but probably 80-90% tear it down. I've decided. Tighten a bunch of stuff I did wrong. I can see some of the extrusions. I only put like one little clamp on it, and just never it worked. So I never bothered to like add more structure, and it really needs more structure to be proper. More little angle clampy things and ways of attaching. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's cool though. I mean, that thing's awesome. I think it's freaking cool as crap. I might need to talk to somebody with a resin printer. I can do yellow resin. And the yellower it is, the better. But it's a super secret, not so secret project, but it's going to be in yellow. Got to do some more super secret, not so secret projects. I'm not sure I can FDM print it. I'm going to find out later. Although, do I even have any yellow filament left? I just thought of that. I don't have any yellow filament left. I know I don't have any yellow TPU left. Or what little I have isn't good. Not enough. Why am I hearing that thing clicking? Oh, it's just rolling the wheeler. The wheelie's rolling. It's wheeling out. That's going to be a big head. Anyway. So, yeah. Come on, one of you guys, Ian or freaking Andrew or, Terry even. Come on, Terry, jump in. We haven't seen you. People want to hear from you. You're an important person in the maker community. So, time-lapse customer print. Isn't that just octo-lapsing? You're not sitting there manually pushing a button or anything, are you? Are you? You got 3 kids? Well, freaking jump in. We like kids, as long as they're someone else's and they go home. What a jerk I am sometimes. Kids are cool. Hell, Dan always puts his freaking cats on there. Everyone's got dogs. You might as well have kids. So just broadcast the time lapse. That'll be cool. Whatever. I don't know how long I'm going to stay because I got really nothing going on but that one print. That's like the whole thing right now, and that's all I care about, and blah. I want to get it done and shipped out because it's a super secret, not so secret project that I want done and out of the house and done and not have to think about it anymore. I've been stressing over it for too long. I don't know why I'm stressing over something so stupid, but one of them things I just had to get right. A super secret, not so secret project in yellow. But I'm not sure I can FDM print the part because of the way it's structured. The problem is you're over the border. So getting it from you would not be worth it, unfortunately.
The Invisible Man.
So is that some kind of secret project, or is that something you can tell us you're printing about?
Yeah, I would show
it looks
off.
big.
Yeah, it is. I did a test print of it earlier.
What is it?
Yeah, so it is a model base for a custom sculpt for one of my sculpting friends with his logo built in. This was just a test model. And on the rim that you can see the infill, there is RGB LEDs to go inside it, so it all lights up.
So it's like a box.
Yeah. So, well, yeah. No, it's a stand. Hold on, I'll put the little plaque on it. So there's a little plaque that goes on it.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, I said I'll get the time lapse on it done, so that he can add it to, because he's already sculpted it and casted it. He does like skin like silicon.
Oh yeah.
So it actually like it looks real and feels real. So I thought I'd make him a really nice base to go with it. But with this, I can take off the little plaque names so that he can take his photos with it on, and then he can take that small name tag off and replace it with his next sculpt.
Cool.
So I quickly whipped that one up.
Is that an artillery sidewinder?
Yep, artillery sidewinder X1 V2, and I've just put a 0.6 nozzle on it as well.
What's up with all these freaking names of these things now? Creality is getting ridiculous too. The Creality
CR2 VSX,
CR8 XL large super this S5 12 17 95 S35 60 version 2.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. The reason why they categorized the Sidewinder with version 1 and version 2 was that they had modified the extruder board and some of the electronics on the inside of it. So they've got slightly different positions on each one. So the first version is now obsolete. The second version that came out had, better cable management. The cables were a tiny bit thicker, so you actually got better consistency out of it, because the used flat leads burn out. So
those style cables are not made for continuous movement.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, even the old Flex IDE cables that you get on old PCs, they were really thick. They were meant to be moved about.
They're made to be moved and put in position and left. They're not made for continuous movement.
But
they're thick enough that they're made for continuous movement or silicone or mylar, mylar backbones.
Yeah, I mean, you could use IDE cables. I've done tests on them. Don't get me wrong; they will degrade. All flat leads degrade over time. I mean, all cables do as well, because basically they just erode. But I mean, IDE cable would actually do that quite nicely for wiring up a printer.
Yeah, I don't know. There was better ways to do that. The concept is a good idea. It's just...
Yeah. I mean, basically, it's just so that they don't have a big cable chain coming down the center of the printer where they have the filament holder.
I don't know why they didn't go to a mylar one. I can't imagine having a mylar cable would be that expensive to make. I mean, like anything, the first one you do and set up and everything, but the mylar cables are freaking cheap.
Yeah, that's it.
Probably pull them out of a printer and just, repin it to whatever you want.
Yeah, my camera's gonna keep giving you that weird kind of focus in and focus out, because it's taking a snapshot every couple of seconds.
Yeah, it's focusing on the hot end moving too, so it's changing.
Yeah. But it's because it's taking basically the video and chopping it down to every 300 milliseconds, I think it is. Yeah. And that's how, and then basically I just speed it up, and it speeds up the 300 milliseconds to every second.
Yeah, they're getting
so
you do where it just does a one shot every layer.
Yeah, because I've got Spirit Lapse on my phone that I run as my second camera, and what's going at the moment was a lot more better than using, but OBS only goes down to 300 milliseconds, so you can't get it any slower.
Cool. Anyway.
Yeah. So you've been up to much other than your drone problems?
No, I'm actually really surprised that the company's like doing that. I mean, this thing is not under warranty. There's no reason for them to be, shipping that monstrosity around. I mean, it's going to cost them $150 in shipping each way.
Yeah.
That's why I said. And again, everyone's. I've had a few people like, "Oh, you're just going to give it back to them? And freaking assholes! Why would you do that? You should keep it." It's like, what am I going to do with it? They gave it to Steven as a review unit. He did not buy it. They gave it to him.
Yeah.
He then gave it to me because he wasn't using it and he knew I'd play with it. So it's not like there's any money lost other than, a bunch of guys freaking donated some shipping money to come to me. Sucks, that if they decide. But I'm like, you know what? If they want to freaking refurb it and not give it back to me, I don't care. Would I like it back? Sure. Am I really all that excited about it? To be honest, the thing's too freaking big to fly around here.
So what did it actually do?
I mean, I'd fly it, don't get me wrong, but I really should have the freaking professional license because it's over 5 pounds. It's a monstrosity. I knew it was big. I did not realize it was that big. I thought it was, probably like half or, a little over 2/3 the height. I did not realize that thing is freaking huge. The biggest thing about it, I mean, the actual egg shape, it's cute. I don't give a crap. I just wanted that particular camera. When Steven was like, "Oh, I'm going to get rid of it," I'm like, "Dude, I'll take it." He's like, we were BSing about it, but even before he said he'd ship it to me, he's like, "I don't want to sell it because they gave it to me." But he's not, for all he's got his issues and some people don't agree with his attitude sometimes, he's not a bad guy. He's not out to rob and steal and, just that. He was like, "I'd rather give it away to someone that'll use it than, try and make money off of it." Yeah. He's like, "You know what? If you want it, we can get the money to ship it." He's like, "I'll ship it to you."
That's what I used to do. I've got loads of stuff around here that
it's freaking huge, Buttram. It's freaking huge.
I give away so much stuff that's worth quite a fair bit. I should technically sell it because I bought it years ago, but
I can't tell you how many things that I've bought and then played with, and then it sat, and I finally just said, "You know what?" Somebody's like, "Oh, I want that. How much is it?" I'm just like, "You know what? Just take it." Or I'll do like, "What's it worth?" "Oh, it's worth $100. Well, give me 20 and have a nice day." You know what I mean? It's like I don't know.
I'm not one of these people.
One of those that can take an old piece of shit and you'd look at it and go, "That ain't worth nothing," and he'd spray paint it and turn around and sell it for $500. My old boss was, I don't want to say he was slimy like that because that's kind of what he did, even though he owned a fence company, but he actually made more money. Like he'd go take old barns down. He was one of those reclaimer kind of guys. He loved doing it. I couldn't stand it, but he'd go take old barns down and then run the wood through a planer and spend his afternoons and evenings, pulling all the nails out and doing all that, cleaning up the wood and, resell it. I don't know how he made money. He didn't make money, to be honest with you. He probably made $4 or $5 an hour doing it. He just liked doing it. And it did make him a little money, it kept he bought a new planer out of it, but he wasn't, his hourly rate couldn't have been good.
Yeah.
Because there's a few nights that we sat there and, I wasn't charging him. We were just hanging out. And, he'd strip down. It was actually his old garage barn from a house that he'd flip houses on occasion. That's actually how I met him. Was I worked for him flipping houses. I'd go in to repair his houses for him. But anyway, we tore down a garage/barn, and it had really that's one I would have liked to have gotten the wood out of. It was like, I'm going to guess 150, 200 years old. It was freaking ancient. But all the sheathing on it was like 1.75 inches wide, all like local cherries and oaks. It was just random. You could tell they just went out in the field, cut down a tree, ripped it. It was like 1.75 inches wide. The sheathing, it was just random boards, and they were like, most of them were a foot or more wide. We had to cut them down to get them through his planer because he just had one of them semi-portable. I think it only did like 16 inches wide planers.
Yeah.
So we were running them through the table saw to get them narrow enough to go through the planer. This stuff was like this thick. I mean, it was 1.75 inches, even when we were done after planing it. It was all clear, too. A lot of it didn't even have knots in it or anything. Big, wide, 12, 14-foot long boards. Who knows what? It's random wood. You could tell they just, cut trees down in the lot and just ripped them down to make whatever. Oh, some of them were really nice. He did his floor out of some of it. We did his entryway floor out of it, just randomly, like, butted them together and laid them down and left them all natural. And there's big gaps in it. You can actually go down. I think he went and poured some resin in some of the cracks that were too big, but you can literally see the plywood underneath it. But I'll tell you what, after we clear coated and everything, it looked freaking gorgeous. He did like a pattern in the entryway with a little like, it was just all the random different kinds of woods. He's like, how are we going to mount this to the floor?
We kind of did the same. There was a church up the road from ours, and they had all the old pews, and they said 120 quid. And I mean, this is a church, a massive church, and it was full of pews, and they said, come take them away, 120 quid. And we bought the whole lot and took them apart because they were solid mahogany. And it was like, this stuff is worth a ridiculous amount of money. They were like, we just need to get rid of them. We made flooring, skirting boards, window ledges, window frames.
You, Mr. Buttram.
Everything came out of that. It was beautiful.
Butterbutt.
Mr. B.
I might actually have pictures of it. Because he laid it all out, and then I actually did the floor because I wasn't sure how he wanted it to look, kind of thing. And
Mr. B, why aren't you getting on? Oh, Buttram. Get your backside on here.
Photos. I'll probably have to dig back because it was some time ago. But I'm pretty sure he is one ugly bastard. Dave's photos. Oh, the decks we did. Is this the deck he just did that he was trying to con me into coming back and working for him? Dude, not happening, dude. Oh, nice stairs. Oh, that's the same wood. He must have just did these because I didn't do these. Yeah, this is all the mahoganies, and that's pretty, dude. I gotta give him credit. That's kind of nice. Here, I'll share a screen. That would be a good thing to do while I'm talking about it, huh? This is all the same woods. Just some mahoganies and whatever was freaking off the lot. Actually, I think that's cedar.
That's, cedar or beryl.
I think this is mahogany. I'm pretty sure one of those, at least one of those boards is oak.
The front one's mahogany, definitely, because they tend to have quite a few knots further down, but they're sealed knots. They're nice.
Trying to find a floor. We did it in his house.
No, Mr. Buttram. No.
Oh, here's some more of it. We ripped it down and built his. That's the door.
Ooh, that's nice. I love that. I love things like that.
I did like 3 of these doors for him out of it. It's all the same wood.
Yeah.
The floor is just wicked because actually I got to give him credit. I wasn't sure how we wanted to lay it out because we're trying to use scraps because it's a little really narrow hallway entryway, and I didn't want to use whole boards. I have no idea what that ain't. That you must have gotten a boat because those are boat parts. Oh, this is all when he was down in Florida, calling me up in the snowstorms, telling me I got to go fix a fence. It's like, dude, I don't work for you no more. I ain't going to fix your freaking fence. Here's the first door I did for him. It's all the same stuff. Look how wide that is. That's one piece from there to there. It's like 16 inches. That's nice hardware he got too. That was not cheap. That's a nice door. Here's the floor with the tile in the middle.
Ooh, wow.
All of this is the same wood down
Beautiful.
here too. You can see it's all random breeds. It's like some of it's oak and some of it's cherry and some of it's maple and some of it's pine. It's just whatever it happens to be. And then he did this was his design. He's just like, I want to do this on my floor. Can we do it? I'm like, sure. He's like, how are we going to attach it? It's like, I'm going to freaking beef up the subfloor and screw it down. This is all screwed and pegged. And I actually use the board. You can see some of the screws here. I'd like take the end of the board and I'd cut it and I'd take the end of whatever species these all are, because as you can see, these are all different species. And I'd make the plugs out of that board so they all matched. Oh, big old bird. Oh, those are the sails we did in Mystic. That was so stupid. What a waste. God, I hated that. Sails. They wanted sails on the hotel. Are you freaking kidding me? Here's my big old. This is what I used to do. I used to hand make all this crap. It's all made by me. I didn't install it. I'd have the guys go install it, but I used to make all that crap for them. Some of this, actually, I didn't make this. This was pre-made. I made all of these things, and then we bought lattice work. And where else is the? I thought he had a picture of all the decks we used to do. I can't believe I did that. That was so stupid. Can't believe we didn't change that. Why didn't I change that board? You should never have a freaking split when it wasn't working. How dumb was that?
No, it's not all the way down the hole.
That was nice for. What else did I do with that nutcase? Oh,
It's quite amazing. You could actually make that much out of it. It shows how much wood was actually there.
Oh, dude, it was a garage and a barn. And I don't mean they took a barn and made a garage out of it. There was a separate garage. I mean, it was the same building, but there was a 2-bay garage plus a barn. It was big. This is rebuilding his house. That's his bedroom.
Jeez. I mean, the one thing I don't think you've got over there. Do you guys have lava and plaster? Like walls made of lava and plaster? I don't think it's kind of Britain. Lava and plaster. Have you ever came across that? Lava and plaster.
Horsehair plaster? Yeah. You don't see much of it unless you're like into a really old house.
Yeah, I mean, like basically in the UK, most houses used to have lava and plaster walls because it was cheap, basically. Then plasterboard came in and everyone would rip them out. But the flat that I'm in, like, has got pretty much every wall is lava and plaster, and it is such a pain in the backside. I wouldn't mind ripping them all down and just replacing them, but the money and the time.
Anyway, enough of Dave Henderson and custom fence design. I don't work there no more. Thank God.
Laugh.
Not a bad guy. I couldn't. For one, I dislike fences. I think fences are freaking ugly. I hate them. I don't like fences. I think they're a waste of freaking money. Even decorative ones they just annoy me. I don't like fences. Lath and plaster. Horsehair lath. I hated horsehair plaster.
It's a pain because it gets damp and then it soaks through and then it gets moldy and then it just crumbles.
It's the same thing.
Well, not if you get foil back or the water resistant stuff that you get over here. And it's a tiny wee bit more expensive than standard.
You can't rework a house with plaster. You got to just tear it all down and frickin' sheetrock over it. Then you got to try and butt it in. It's just a. That was
to repair it.
80% of what I did in my life in construction is, almost every boss I ever worked for was a house flipper type of guy, where he'd buy a house and we'd go in and strip it, clean it up, install some new stuff, remodel it, and resell it.
Yeah.
I worked for a couple of guys that were, regular contractors, but probably 80% of what I did was house flipping kind of work until I got into the big corporate world. Big corporate world. Donald Trump's world.
Houses,
Thank God we didn't ever do any of his work. No Trump towers. Wouldn't do it. I didn't want to go in the city, let alone it wasn't even Trump himself. I don't know if I probably told you guys. The company I used to work for would have me go because I ran the New York end of things, Long Island / New York. I'd go in and do the overlook with my boss who would do the estimate for jobs. In other words, my job was to go in and say, okay, this is wrong, or this is wrong, or this is wrong. Let's make sure we charge them extra for it, kind of thing. So I'd walk around the job sites with my boss when he's bidding it. And I think three or four Trump sites. I got into it and with my boss, and both of us were like, the last two, we just looked at each other and said, we left the building, and we were like, he never even bid on them. He's like, I ain't bidding on that. That's going to be more of a headache than it's worth. Every one of them, when I talked to the other builders, because we always did like cabinetry and stuff, so we always did bidding after construction was already underway. When you do big complexes, you don't like bid everything out all at once. Most people got a general idea what it's going to cost and estimate by door, blah, blah, blah. But then we do an actual estimate for installing doors and cabinets and trim and all that crap. Every one of them, you talk to the guys and you talk to their bosses, and I'd get in there and they're all like, we haven't been paid in months. We're getting ready to leave. Every single one of Trump's jobs that we went on. And a couple of them weren't his. He was resubbing it or some crap. I don't know how that all worked, but he was involved in it. We were like, no. Yes. I did that. That's one of the first things I did for that company. I'd actually worked for him, but it was the first thing I did as a boss, as a running, because they hired me to do punch list. I was originally their punch list guy and went in. And then my boss got really, really sick and broke his leg. He was sick, fell down trying to go to the bathroom to puke and broke his leg. And he's like, dude, can you run these job sites for me? I'm like, sure. It's like, I'll do these, 6 here and you guy over there. That's how I got into, anyway, that's how I got into being upper end. And one of them was the old Lincoln Hotel, what they call the Lincoln Hotel in New London, Groton, Norwich. It's actually, I think it's right on the edge of Norwich and New London. Anyway, it's supposedly Lincoln slept in this hotel. And they were completely gutting it, but they wanted to keep the Lincoln Hotel idea because Lincoln slept in it or some freaking thing while he was traveling or some, I don't know the details, but they call it the Lincoln Hotel because he slept there. It's actually not the name of the hotel. But anyway, they literally gutted the whole thing inside and just left the brick exterior walls that were like 150 years old. Like 6 stories tall with nothing inside, just brick wall going straight up. Oh my God, was that place scary, dangerous. And the guys are just up there on staging and they're just taking a sledgehammer and knocking out bricks, putting holes in the wall so they can put beams in. And I'm just like, oh my God, this stuff's so old. You keep doing that and it's just going to fall over. It's going to get crushed under freaking, 60 feet tall piles of brick. That was like, oh my God, I saw that job. I was like, are you people freaking nuts? They're like, what else are we gonna do? You put a freaking substructure inside it. You don't just bust holes in freaking 200-year-old brick. And then expect it to hold up an I-beam that's, 20, 30 feet long.
See, the hilarious thing about that is that round here, a lot of the stuff is made of sandstone. So if you would hit that with a hammer, literally the entire wall would just degrade and fall to pieces.
Yeah. Yep. It just powders up if you hit it hard enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some of that around here too. Not a lot. Most around here is rock or brick because we had this area was a big rock and brick quarry, rock quarries and bricklayers because you got the Boston Brick House, which is still in existence. One of the oldest, I think it is the oldest American brick manufacturer, still makes brick in Boston. They're still there after whatever, 150, 200 years, whatever it is. However long they've been there. Rock, lobster. I haven't heard that song in a long time. That's funny. The other one I was listening to was that I haven't heard in a billion years, and I hated the band other than the one song was the Blondie one where the alien comes down and is eating cars and eating guitars, and I used to love that song. That was on. I actually own it. I bought it on. It was just randomly playing music. I bought it off of iTunes there years and years and years ago because it's just stupid funny. It's a good song. Too bad you can't play songs on here. They give you grief. Yeah, Raptor. There you go. It's the only thing from Blondie I ever liked, but that was a good tune.
I like it.
What's up, Vike?
Get in here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, get your ass in here. I need somebody besides me sitting here in my ugly ass face.
Yeah, it's all right. I can sit back and relax whilst the printer does all of the sexy work for me.
Sexy. You know, pretty far. I mean, I'm overweight, but I'm not quite that big. I can push that thing right out there, though. Okay, that's going to be huge. Much bigger than I originally thought. Oh, well. I'm over it. I'm over it. Overy it. What time is it? 11:30. At noon, I got to go make Mom lunch. I have no idea what she's getting. Probably hot dogs.
11:30. It's 3:30 here. In the
Did I
afternoon.
take all the groceries out of the car? I'm thinking there's still hot dog rolls out in the car. I bought hot dog rolls, and I don't remember putting them away. Crap. I wonder if there's something else in that bag that's like frozen or something. I have a feeling it's still in the back seat of the car. Don't. Oh, well. If it is, it's too late now because it's been 2 hours. And it is almost 90 degrees out. Out in the sun. In a black car.
Yeah. Don't even know what temp it is.
I haven't put it back in the garage yet, so it's literally out in the sun. It's not even in the garage.
In the garage.
Yeah.
Not the garage.
So Robbie's here. He's big into resin printing. You got bright yellow resin there, Mr. Robbie Mac? I might, after some more experimentation, need you to print me 2 small resin prints.
It is 14 degrees outside, centigrade.
Has to be yellow.
I was puppy sitting this morning. My brother just came back from offshore, and his dog had a little pup.
Do the alcohol treatment in yellow. That would be freaking awesome. Oh, I wonder if I could get that. Oh, man, I really want to do resin, but I just really don't. Yeah, I'll hit you up later. First, I got to see if it's even going to work.
I wouldn't mind a resin printer, to be quite honest. I'd like to play with one.
We're a fun game. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time.
Where you at? Where you at? Oh, man.
Pick up your resin printer. Where is it? Kind of want one, I kind of don't. It's one of the things I don't think I'll use a lot.
I want one because I like
There's
printing
Tanner.
very small, detailed stuff to add to my prints.
Up, Tannerman.
Jenna!
Not much and a whole lot all at the same time.
How you doing, Rudy?
Hanging in there.
Are you moving yet?
No.
Couple 3-4 months.
Yeah, we're a couple weeks out from that yet.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
You
A
guys,
little over 2 weeks.
is it escrow
Yeah.
over there?
What's that?
Is it escrow that you guys get over there? A house goes into escrow.
no.
No, I don't really know anything about house buying. This is the first time I've done it, so we're just going by what they tell us they need.
Because basically here, what you do is you put in your offer and then they state a time of move. So it could be within 3 days. It doesn't matter. But I thought in America you have something what's called escrow. What is the house goes into
Escrow is a financial thing. It's you put your taxes and stuff in escrow. So when you pay your mortgage, you actually pay your taxes with your mortgage most time.
Oh,
So
right.
the bank pays your taxes because you're paying them all along to pay your taxes. That way they don't have to worry about the house getting taken. That's
One
mortgage insurance thing.
one payment we pay our loan, we pay our taxes, we pay our
Yeah.
all that. So yeah.
Okay.
You basically finance your taxes for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
That's just confusing. That is.
No, it actually makes sense. Like when my parents bought this house, they escrowed everything, including insurances. You know, because where I live on the water, we had to get hurricane insurance, which is freaking ridiculous.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know if anyone know what hurricane insurance is, but it's like in 10 years' time, you could buy your house again with hurricane insurance. That's how much hurricane insurance is. It's generally 1/10 of the value of your property every year. So in 10 years' time, you can just buy a whole new house.
Yeah, our tentative closing date is August 14th. So
That's pretty good. Usually they're like 3 weeks out.
well that's gonna be about a month from the time that the offer was accepted. So
That pretty much is the exact definition. Yeah, that's the other thing I would do with a new house, dude. I'd figure out what your insurance is, and I would escrow your insurance.
oh yeah, we've already got our insurance and all that also.
Yeah, getting that monthly. It's easier to pay one big monthly bill than it is a bunch of little ones.
We even switched our auto insurance while we were at it because the place that we had
they
our
do
auto
everything
insurance.
together to save money.
Yeah, we're saving like $50 a month.
Yeah, we save like more than that because we got the house, my mother's life, and the car all in one spot now. When my father passed, we moved it all because we were getting it through EB, which was where I used to work in General Dynamics, but can't do that now because he's gone and she's got to get her own. And it was way cheaper to put them all together in one spot and just
Yeah,
we
all
saved
the
$300 a month.
because there's multi-car discounts when you have your auto insurance, but then all the insurance companies that do that stuff also offer multiple policy discounts because an auto policy and a home policy are two different policies.
I was gonna say, even if like your wife's got life insurance or you got life insurance, put all that crap in there.
Well, she's got all that.
Get off to college, you realize you can get like dorm property insurance, like if all his junk if his dorm room gets broken into and his junk gets stolen, you can insure all that.
Yeah,
That's a buttload of money.
like
Put it all together.
Like the house insurance here was a little bit higher because of the increased risk of tornadoes in the area.
Where you're moving to, or where you are now?
Where we're moving to.
There's really,
Yeah.
Really?
Well, that's
it's too mountainous there.
It was interesting. I watched a really interesting YouTube video about how Tornado Alley has gradually shifted east
Yep.
over the years. So that goes into the whole, believe it or not, climate change thing is causing some real impacts. It has moved Tornado Alley dramatically east over the years.
Yeah,
well, the thing with seasons, they've actually now proven that all the seasons have changed, and it actually goes to prove that you can't go off of Gregorian calendars. I think they go off of, because it makes no sense because they miss specific days, but also it stays the same every year. Once again, it makes no sense because each year is different. A cycle is completely different.
Yeah, no. If you get a decent insurance company, you got to shop around. But all of them, if you generally, one item will be a little more, one item will be a little less. But if you combine them all into one, it almost always ends up cheaper. One company covers everything. They usually give you a better service too because they just know they're making a buttload of money off you every month.
Well, and it was funny because how this all worked. It was all like a domino effect. Like when we found our finance guy had a specific real estate agent that he works with. So we had to use his agent. And then they have a specific insurance guy they work with. And they all work together, and it saves you money along the whole process because they all work together on every job they do.
It depends on how they can be slimy and screw you.
Oh no!
If it works, it works.
This is
totally shop around and double check.
No, because we did shop around.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Now we couldn't shop around for our realtor because our finance guy. Once we found our finance guy, and we shopped around for finance guys. Once we chosen our finance guy, he only works with this realtor in this area.
Really? Yeah, I'm not big on that either.
Yeah, so we had to use his realtor. But that's because his realtor knows exactly how he wants everything done, paperwork-wise, and all that stuff.
Yeah, they give each other kickbacks too.
Yeah, basically. Which would be brilliant if you were in real estate and you found a finance guy that wanted to work with you like that, because that means everything he finances is going to go through you.
Yep.
Hey, Dan.
The little bit I got
and Ryan and 3D printing and painting
for a couple of years. A little bit I got into that. It was like some of them are real scammers and some of them are real good. You have to do your homework. Just like you say, if you find one of those that the group work together and they all work well, it streamlines everything. It's like you say, the real estate agent knows exactly what the finance guy wants. The finance guy knows exactly what the insurance companies want.
Yep.
You know exactly what the banks want, because finance guy isn't the bank; it's usually a broker.
And so once we would find out, okay, they hooked us up with this insurance guy, and this insurance guy said, "You're working through these guys, and here's our quote for you." Yeah. And so then we went and checked other quotes, and all the other quotes were dramatically higher. Mm-hmm. And so we talked to the finance guy about everything, and we're like, man, this whole process has been almost too painless. And it seems like everything that you guys have laid out in front of us is ends up ultimately being our best option. And he's like, well, it's because we do a lot of these, and we would rather, take care of people and get it through as easy and as painless and as inexpensive as possible, so we can move on to the next one and just keep going.
Yeah.
He's like, if you have to spend a bunch of time shopping around, you have to spend a bunch of time, haggling with stuff and all that. Well, then that slows us down before we can move on to the next one.
This saves them. They're better off charging you a little less and working as a group because they spend less time, and their whole basis of income is time. They can take a third time frame off for themselves. They make more money, even though they're making less per sale.
And Sergio will enjoy this. The home has a HVAC unit that's less than a year old.
It's weird that it's had to have one that new, where it's a fairly new house, anyways.
Yeah. The house was built in '02, and they put in a new HVAC system in 2019, towards the end of 2019. And when they did, they replaced all of the ductwork. So it's all new ductwork. It's a 2019 3-ton carrier unit.
That tells me the original one wasn't done so hot then.
I think she said the original unit was a 2.5 ton, and it had a harder time keeping up. And
Yeah. So
whenever it would get really, really cold or really, really hot, it had a hard time keeping up.
Yeah. No, they didn't do the math right.
Yeah. So last year she had a 3-ton put in, and it keeps up easily.
I'm staring at that little package of cookies behind you, thinking those are Nutter Butters.
Oh no, it's wet wipes.
I thought, yeah,
It looked like a package of Nutter Butters at first. I was like looking at it going, oh, I want.
I got to take those out and put they're meant to go out in my car and stay in the center console. My wife picked them up at the store the other day, and she brought them in and set them here. She's like, "Put that in your car," and I just haven't remembered to take them with me either of the 2 times I've been out to the car since then.
No, it's lazy tandem.
But yeah, the home inspector, when I did the walkthrough with him, he was blown away by the AC unit. He was, the HVAC system. He's like, yeah, you guys are set for a long time. He's like, this particular carrier unit in particular, he's like, this thing's a tank.
Yeah, the problem is that's the other thing. You can go too big and actually waste energy. People don't realize the number one draw on an AC unit or a heat pump is turning it on and off. You can run it for 20 minutes to an hour, and it takes less energy than it actually kicking it on. Starting up the compressor takes the most energy. So if you got one, you don't want it running constantly because then it just wears out. But if you get one that's too big, it'll kick on, run for a minute, and then kick off again like mine does. This is actually too big. And it just keeps kicking on and off and on and off and on and off and actually draws more energy. Right, Sergio? Tell him, Serge. Sarge. Sergio. We're going to call him Sarge.
Yeah, our home inspector was like, if you guys do the proper maintenance on this and treat it right, he's like, this thing's going to last you a good long time.
Yeah. The problem is with those things that last you a good long time, by the time it wears out, they've gotten they've already made them way more efficient. If it dies every 10 years, you get a more efficient one.
All right.
I got a freezer down there from the 70s that it works fine. I just want to get rid of it because it's a year's worth of electricity will pay for itself.
Right. Yeah, so we're excited. I'm looking forward to making all this happen and then getting settled in. We're going to end up having to buy a bunch more furniture and stuff because the house is twice the size of this one.
Oh, don't need more furniture. More space. No more furniture. That's what you tell your wife. No more furniture. More space. Less junk.
Right. Well, I don't even think we have enough. I don't even think we have enough actual furniture to fill some of the rooms.
Don't need to.
It'll just be bare floor.
Don't need to. That's the only problem with buying big houses like that. It's where do people buy it?
Well, it's the whole George Carlin stuff routine. You need a bigger house so you can buy more stuff.
Well, yeah, so you can just have stuff.
Yeah.
Jerry, you can stream from your phone now on StreamYards.
Well, the room that all this stuff is in right now is going into a room that's
Going to be strictly for it.
strictly for it, and it's going to be 16 by 22, I think.
Holy crap, that's bigger than this room.
Yeah. But the problem is it's got the
But who cares?
The walls only go up this high before they do this.
Yeah. So that's what I can't get to people. So many years I've been doing construction, and it's like I design any room with a cathedral ceiling like that and the knee walls. I kick them into 5 feet, not 4 feet. Everyone builds them at 4 feet. I'm always like, put them in at 5 foot. And they're like, why? It's a waste of space. No, it's more usable space because then you can put a closet in that space. And at 5 foot, the average person, even a 6 foot person, can walk up to the wall and use it because it's still.
Yeah, it's got little like crawl space size closets on both sides.
Yeah, which if it was 5 foot, and I guarantee it's got 4 foot knee walls, right? It's like a 3.5 foot finish because once you put the floor in and everything, you lose 4 to 6 inches and sheetrock and all that crap. It's stupid. If they don't bump it out a foot on either side, the room gets a little narrower, but it's more usable. And the closet, knee wall closets are big enough to be usable.
Right.
At 5 foot, I'll even do.
And they run, the full length of the room. So I mean, there's
that's where you store your filament, man.
Right, and well, that might end up being what that ends up getting used for.
Yeah, as long as as long as the ceiling's insulated and not the knee wall. If it's knee wall insulated, you don't want to put the
right
there because then it'll just get really, really hot in the summer and really, really cold in the winter.
Well, and that room isn't on the same. It's not on the central air. It's got its own system.
System or just a window unit like I'm running?
It's basically a window unit, but it's not in a window.
Yeah, it's an in wall.
It's in wall.
Which is actually what that is.
Yeah,
I stick it in the window, but it's actually a wall unit.
Yeah, and it does heat and.
Oh, it's a full heat pump.
Yeah.
So it's got a separate compressor somewhere then.
I guess
underground.
But yeah, it's
not the same thing. It's not all in one. It's just stuck in the wall.
Yeah. Because I guess when they originally built the house that didn't have the bonus room above the garage, that was just an attic.
Yeah.
They converted it after the fact, and in order for it to be included on the square footage, it had to be heated and cooled.
Yep.
So rather than running the ductwork and redoing the HVAC.
Yeah. Oh, I would have put it. If I go to do the garage, I'll put heat pumps in. They're so much cheaper. I mean, they're not as efficient as true heat and air conditioning, but they're darn close, and they're like so much cheaper to install.
My daughter is texting me.
Insulation is more important. You're absolutely right. Proper insulation is more important.
She almost never texts or calls me anymore since she moved to Illinois.
Who?
My daughter.
Oh.
The 22-year-old. Or 23 now. 23-year-old. I almost never hear from her. But I texted her our new address yesterday.
I got my
just in case things fall through where she's at and she comes, because she's not good at like calling before, like she's done this before where like she didn't call before she came back home. She just showed up at the front door. It's like, hi. Okay, well I guess we're gonna make room for you now.
I've done that a couple times in my life.
Yeah, in case she needs to pull that again, she needs to know the new address to do it at.
Yeah, I did that coming back from Florida with my parents.
Yeah, surprise! Here I am. And now she's texting me pictures of her new cats. She got 2 kittens.
We were drinking and doing way too much drugs down in Florida, and the only way it was going to stop is if I got out of there. And I lived
cool. Mr. Buttram got his Fortress Gray from Ziltec in. Oh no, the box was mangled. Spool was almost destroyed. The filament looks fine though. Well, hopefully it prints fine. Like there was a spool of filament I got from IC3D a long time ago that when I got it, it wasn't the vacuum sealing was no good on it, and that filament never printed right. And I don't have the stuff to necessary stuff to dry it out. I've still got the roll of filament back there, but it would never print. Every print I made off of it looked awful.
A cheap bag of rice and one of those cereal pourer boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Get one of those 32-liter big storage containers, the see-through ones. Pour the rice into the cereal container. Put it inside the bottom. All the desiccant packs that you get with your filament, chuck in there, and then just put the spool in it, close, and lock the lid over the top of it. The filament's fine. I've had a pile of filament that hadn't been used. It was in a damp room. It had been in there for half a year. I put it in that box for, I think it was 2 months. Took it out, printed fine.
So I'm going to kill it because Chris Riley is doing his. It just came up. So
he's doing another one, huh? Well, hopefully this is the one where he buttons everything up and gets it working.
Yeah. Fail core. Fail core. So, yeah. Oh.
What happened? Did he just,
I don't know. He was mid-sentence and he just...
I think he meant to finish it. Just
Did you mean to finish the stream and finished yourself instead?
Well, I was going to go over and get the chewing on the potato, on the pretzels. I was going to get the link to just post it. And I just hit, I hit the email, but usually the email, link gives you a new window or a tab. And it didn't. It just overrode the tab I was in.
Whoops.
Buttram, it's not that. It's an actual 32-liter carrier. They've got seals on the side. It's just a storage container. I see what you're saying there. They are the cereal ones. They're the ones that I've seen before. They work good if you've got individual spools that you're leaving out on a shelf. But I'm talking if you've just got mass amounts of filament. You just chuck them all into that box, seal it, and leave it until you get to use them.
Well, I'm killing it. See you, bye. Everyone go over at the link there I just posted to Mr. Riley's basement.
Yep. See you over there.
Get you one.